tonight. Why attendance in Saskatchewan schools is dropping and calling in sick is on the rise. Regina finally finds a home for its food and yard waste. And we meet some of the people who help keep Saskatoon's outdoor rinks in top shape.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Monday, December 8th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. Data compiled by CBC News has found more students in Saskatchewan are missing class now than before the pandemic. And there are many reasons why that might be. Aaliyah Marco Omene has our top story.
Your two oldest would have been kind of going through school during the pandemic-ish? Yeah.
Becky Peterson says she's noticed a change in her two youngest kids since the pandemic. They're more casual about school, so they're more inclined to call in sick, whether they're actually ill or just need a break from class. But she's trying to teach them the importance of balance.
It's important to recognize when you need space or time or you're not at your best, and to take the space that you need for that, but also within reason.
And her kids aren't alone. CBC News compiled data on school absences from across the country for the last 5 years. Saskatoon Public Schools has reported a 50% increase in illness-related absences since 2019. And across the province, attendance during the same time has dropped by nearly 4%. One student says her decision to call in sick depends on what she'll miss in class.
Having like a notification that this assignment's due makes me feel like I should go to class and do it. Or if like I see that we're doing notes that day, I'm like, it makes me less want to go because I know what's going to happen, and it's stuff that I can learn on my own at home rather than being at the school itself.
Other students say the pandemic made it easier to ask for help with their schoolwork, and when they fall behind, they'd rather stay home.
You don't know if you have like people to support you to get through it. Even though you do and they say you do, it feels like you don't.
Experts say students shaped by the pandemic view school differently. But it's not that they don't care about going to class.
This is just what their environment that they've grown up with. And in their environment, their life is where, there is a bit more flex in the world where, yeah, if you're sick, maybe you stay home and then come back in. That's not necessarily a bad thing.
Sarda says there's no perfect answer to getting kids to feel more motivated about going to school, but extra support is key, and the social connection that comes with it could be what gets them into the classroom. Aaliyah Marco Omene, CBC News, Regina.
A Saskatoon emergency room nurse is sounding the alarm over safety at St. Paul's Hospital. As we told you last week, a man entered the hospital's emergency room late last month, armed with a shotgun and several knives. At an NDP news conference Monday, Melissa McGilvery told media a surge in violence at the hospital has been seen regularly, with a range of weapons being brought in. And she says it's affecting the mental health of staff.
I am here today to say enough is enough. I am here because my heart hurts every time I check in on a peer, a patient, a visitor, or a volunteer who's been impacted by violence. I am here because I'm tired of telling new nurses and new healthcare workers it doesn't have to be like this, or it didn't used to be this bad.
The NDP is calling on the province to come up with a plan to protect hospital workers. They also want a metal detector installed at St. Paul's. The Saskatchewan Health Authority says it offers training to staff to recognize people at risk of violence. There's also training to prevent violence. The fall sitting of the provincial legislature has now come to an end, and while there were no shortage of topics, very little seems to have actually gotten done. Alexander Kwan brings us this recap.
Strong, safe, secure. That was the government's tagline for the fall sitting, and on Friday, a triumphant Premier Scott Moe touted his government's commitment to community safety, including a plan to hire more police officers, allow those affected by drug trafficking to file civil suits, and involuntary addictions treatment. All of this coming as Moe admits more needs to be done to create more beds for those voluntarily seeking treatment.
Our original target was 150. I don't think 500 is going to be enough. And I say that unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be enough because I think we are going to need more than 500 recovery beds in order for everyone to have the opportunity to enter that recovery journey.
And that wasn't the only change in tone we saw from the Premier this sitting. Moe has repeatedly highlighted the changing relationship between the province and the federal government. A strained relationship with former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has given way to a more productive partnership with Mark Carney. The Premier has traveled to Washington 3 times this year, with the most recent trip being directly coordinated with Ottawa.
We're in a situation where if the Prime Minister wins in those negotiations and gets Canada to a good place, that's good for Saskatchewan.
The NDP, meanwhile, introduced a raft of private members' bills, none of which are likely to be successful, including proposals on rent control and a review of the notwithstanding clause. A push to have the province proactively report hospital closures did bear some fruit, with the province preempting the NDP's efforts by announcing a new policy to do just that. But few bills were actually passed this sitting, which sets up an even larger battle when politicians meet again in the legislature in March. Alexander Kwan, CBC News, Regina.
Food and yard waste collected in Regina's green bins will soon have a home outside the city. It's part of a deal the City of Regina has made with Oasis Organics, a company owned by Cowessess First Nation. Oasis plans to build a food and yard waste processing plant on land owned by Cowessess just east of Regina. Once it's running, the waste will go into a system that heats the material, breaking it down into biological charcoal. That product can be used as a soil conditioner.
There'll be no smell, no emissions. It'll immediately go into the hoppers, so it won't be sitting there getting stagnant or anything like that.
This agreement ends the city's long-standing search for a place to put its food and yard waste. The city scrapped a similar deal with another company earlier this year, and in 2023, the RM of Edenwold voted against a composting plant that had been proposed for the town of Pilot Butte over concerns from its residents about its impact on the environment. The contract with Oasis will cost the city about $1.8 million annually. The plant is slated to open next fall. Well, of course, we have avoided the worst of the cold and snowy weather thus far through spring, or through fall rather, but it looks like we are in for a winter wallop. Weather specialist Mickey Wolf joining us now. Mickey, looks like our weather luck has run out.
Ethan, unfortunately, our weather luck has indeed run out. We are looking at quite a stormy week across Saskatchewan, starting with some active watches tonight. Let's take a look. Across the south, we're going to be seeing yellow watches in Saskatchewan. So southern Saskatchewan mostly, but then we're also seeing that a little bit in the west central region. We're looking at strong winds and snow squalls in that southwest corner, so that's going to mean reduced visibility. And then in the central region, we're going to be seeing, the south central region, we're going to be seeing potentially freezing rain tomorrow. And in the southeast, we'll also be seeing up to 20 centimeters of snow by Wednesday. So Ethan, let's just go over a little bit the difference between yellow, orange, and red warnings. So yellow is the most common. It's like hazardous weather with significant impact. It has the potential for significant impact. Orange is very likely to cause significant impact, and then the red is the most rare, and it's life-threatening weather. So we are seeing the most common weather warning here across the province.
Okay, that's good to know. Mickey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if you are wanting to get away from all this weather, well, you're likely out of luck if you are flying with Air Transat. Pilots for that airline could be on strike by Wednesday, and that could leave some passengers without an option to go somewhere warmer or get home.
We try not to be stressed out when we travel for any reason, and this is just one of the hiccups. So we'll deal with it.
Happens, and you'll roll with it.
It's kind of the story of our life. Yeah.
The Canadian airline, which mostly services vacation destinations, has been scrambling to add extra flights in order to bring back passengers who are already away. More than 6 items belonging to First Nations, Inuit, and Métis have been returned to Canada. The National Chief of the Assembly of First Nations says their journey home is an important moment in the history of many Indigenous communities.
I hope it will also be an important moment for all Canadians to consider the history and the future of this country.
62 cultural items previously held in Vatican museums and vaults for a century landed in Montreal Monday. The majority of items have not been revealed, but 14 are of Inuit origin. They include a kayak used to hunt beluga whales. One of the items is Métis, and the remaining belong to First Nations across Canada. Well, people in White City went loony for Lego this weekend. Lego artists showed off their work at the annual Brick Stories Lego Show and Sale. There were lots of cool works to see, including this battery-powered train, and the late pop star Michael Jackson even made an appearance with his signature moonwalk. Stay with us. Mickey is back with all the details on our impending winter storm after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Students in Saskatoon are sowing seeds for their future. They're learning all about native prairie plants and how they restore habitats for pollinators. Aishwarya Duda has that story.
In this Saskatoon classroom, little fingers are doing big work.
Right now I'm sorting seeds.
These grade 6 students at Silver Spring School are cleaning seeds collected from Saskatchewan's disappearing native prairie. They're sorting black-eyed Susans, goldenrod, and more, some collected by the kids themselves during a field trip to a nearby acreage.
We learned a lot about all the seeds, and we learned about the ladybugs, and we also learned about bees, a lot about bees when we went to the farm, because the guy there, he had a beehive, so he taught us all about bees.
It's all part of the One School, One Farm Shelter Belt project. It's a non-profit that pairs classrooms with people who own land to restore the habitat of native plants. And it's resulted in 10,000 seeds being planted across the province so far.
When you have, 1,500 students across the province planting out a species that might be at risk, that can make a huge difference.
This teacher says it also gives her students knowledge beyond textbooks.
I think they're going to walk away and they're just literally going to walk the land and have a different perspective and realize that it's not just connecting with nature, it's like working with nature and bringing back what we need in nature.
And experts say that work matters. North America's grasslands are among some of the most endangered ecosystems, and insects like bees rely on the native flowers students are helping bring back.
Imagine that the more land we need to dedicate to agriculture, the less land or suitable land we have that would be good for bees or native bee habitats. So these types of initiatives, you're basically hoping to gain back some of that habitat for bees.
These tiny seeds, cleaned one by one, will go back into the ground in spring. And for these 6th graders, it's a lesson they'll carry as they walk on the land they've planted their seeds on. Aishwarya Duda, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Mickey Wolf is back now for a full look at the forecast. I think it's going to be a little while before those seeds finally sprout, Mickey.
Ethan, it's going to be a while until spring. That's how I'm feeling this week, at least. So those seeds will have to wait. Let's take a look at some of our daytime highs we saw today. Certainly not seed planting weather in the province today. A little bit warmer of a day for Cornac, though. Elsewhere, things are looking well below zero across the province, and our skies right now are starting to get cloudy, and we're starting to see a little bit of that precipitation coming in from Alberta. Let's take a look at the next few days. So this low pressure system is coming in across the province. It's going to bring that freezing rain in the south and then mixed snow in heavier amounts for the central region, and then that sort of southeastern corner. Then by Wednesday, we're going to see more snowfall again around the supper hour. We're going to have that covering a lot of the province, moving through onto Manitoba, and then again on Thursday by the noon hour, we will see a little bit more snow across the province. Now let's take a look at some of those specific amounts. So by Tuesday evening, we might see up to 10 centimeters in Hudson Bay, up to 15 centimeters for Moosomin. And then as the week continues, we will get another wave wave of that snow that we just saw, that sort of overhead view, up to 23 centimeters of accumulation, 24 centimeters for Yorkton. So quite a bit of heavier snow across the south and central regions. In the north, again, we're going to see more gradual snowfall across the week. So by Wednesday, we'll be seeing, upwards 10 to 14 centimeters in parts of the Churchill region. And then by Thursday evening, again, we're going to see some of those heavier amounts, plus 20 centimeters in parts of the Churchill region near Alberta. Then just quickly taking a look at some of our winds gusting, we're going to see those strong winds overnight tonight in that southwest corner. And then as we get into tomorrow, things will still look pretty strong, especially in that south central corner, or pardon me, part of the province, Regina and Weyburn, looking at winds gusting up to 80 kilometers an hour. Taking a look at our week, again, we're going to have a windy day tomorrow in Regina. We're going to see quite a bit of snow over the next few days, so we won't be planting those seeds anytime soon. And then Friday and Saturday, we've got a chillier day. Now those overnight temperatures quite freezing as well. So definitely a good time to bundle up if you're walking the dog at night. And then again, Saskatoon, we're also seeing heavier amounts of snow, potentially up to 15 centimeters by the time we get to Friday, and then those temperatures drop down to the minus 26 daytime highs and a little bit more snow Sunday. So Ethan, it feels like we're in the thick of winter, even though technically it's still fall.
Yeah, you're right. I thought we could avoid the minus 30s until January, but maybe not.
Hopefully they just scoot on by when we hit January.
Yeah, we will hope so. Okay, thanks, Mickey.
Thanks, Ethan.
Well, with all this cold weather on the way, at least it'll be a good time to get the outdoor rinks in good shape. But they don't just flood themselves. It's a community effort to create and maintain the ice on outdoor rinks in Saskatchewan cities. We meet a few rink coordinators in Saskatoon who are keeping cool under all that water pressure.
My name is Larry Hunjay. I live in the neighborhood here. I've been the rink coordinator for the last 3 years. I moved to the neighborhood probably 5 years ago, and I saw one of the things on Facebook, Rosewood Community Association, and looking for a rink coordinator. Well, it's all, again, weather dependent. We started in late November, I think it was, this year, and it's just an aggregate base here, basically like gravel, crushed up asphalt. And once it's cold enough outside, doesn't go above zero, we just have an oscillating sprinkler that we bring out here, hook it up to the fire hose, let it sit and form a bit of a base. It takes a community to make one of these things go. This isn't a one-man show. That's the payoff when you drive by on a Saturday and you see 30, 40, 50 kids out here skating. And I tell you, there are kids that'll come out here minus 25 at night, sometimes put their skates on the bench because they just want to go skating. They want to play hockey. Because in winter, in Saskatchewan, I'm thinking like, what do you do in winter? So there's toboggan hill, and that's kind of nice with this facility. You got a toboggan hill right there, you got the rink right here. Toboggan kids can come and warm up as long as the shack's open, and it works out pretty good.
Roger, yes, I guess I am the lead rink guy here in Briarwood. I've been involved for 4 years now. Kind of took on the lead here about 3 years ago. Well, this year we did a little different. I went without a liner. We typically use a liner, and I got into trouble with snow on top of the liner before I get the rink done. So I tried it without the liner this year, and it seemed to work pretty well. This is a ball diamond, and I've used the backstop, moved it right to the edge of the backstop because kids like to shoot at the net, and this way they don't have to chase out into the snow for the pucks all the time. So we'll have it open till 10 or 11 at night, typically, and that's when most people can use it, more into the later part of the day, to see the enjoyment. I used to make a rink similar on the farm like this, and it's kind of nice to get out and do that and do something for your community.
The hard part in all of that is when do you coordinate the maintenance with the hockey players. You might want to come out here skating, and all of a sudden it's like, geez, the guy's flooding. What do you do now? And we can't flood the same time every day because the weather's not the same. So it is what it is. You get what you get, and it's been good so far.
More than 20 volunteers put their services to work at this repair cafe in Regina over the weekend. People were able to bring in their items in need of repair and got them fixed up. The event is all about keeping things that can be easily mended out of the landfill and enjoyed for many more years. Stay with us. We're back after the break. Families in Saskatoon spent the weekend getting into the holiday spirit, buying toys for the little ones, while also giving back to their community. This is the third year for the community toy swap at St. Francis School. People are asked to bring in a used toy their kids don't use anymore, and in exchange, they get a ticket to come back and shop for toys their kids didn't have before. Organizers say the event has a big impact.
Helps out people in every way. People that want to just declutter their toys before the holidays, to people that are, struggling during Christmas time, maybe can't get gifts for their kids and just need the financial strain lifted. And then all the remaining toys, and there's a lot of remaining toys every year, and they all go to inner city schools in Saskatoon.
I think it's important that kids are able to part with some of their stuff and realize things are just things, but they can bring joy to other people. And instead of having your house full of stuff that you never play with, you can get rid of it, and it can feel okay to let things go, and someone else will find treasures.
Organizers say the event gets bigger with more donations every year. And Mickey, I think a lot of people will be getting into the holiday spirit with our weather that's in store.
Oh, definitely, Ethan. It's a good time to bundle up and take your toys outside for a little romp in the snow. And let's take a look at some of our overnight conditions. It might not be the best night to go outside to play with toys in the snow here, especially in that southwest corner. We're looking at some pretty nasty conditions overnight tonight. And as well in the north, we'll see things get pretty cold in the far north there. We're still looking at some moderate snow in the Churchill region as well. And taking a look at tomorrow, again, we're going to see that snow start to dissipate, starting to move out of northern Saskatchewan by the time we get to the supper hour. And then looking at the south and central region, well, tomorrow we do have those active watches and then a wind warning as well tomorrow. So we're going to see that weather moving across the province as we get into the day, some heavier snow for the central region as well. So Ethan, it's time to get cozy. It's time to bundle up or stay inside with a blanket and a book because it's pretty cold out there.
Yeah, maybe we'll wait to take the toys outside maybe in spring or summer then.
I think that's a better idea.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Mickey.
Thank you.
And that is our news for this Monday. For more news anytime, you can always head to our website or subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel or download the CBC News app on your smartphone or tablet. Thanks so much for watching.